This morning, for those gathered here in beautiful Independence Village, and for those watching via live stream, the rest of the country and beyond, we are here for the continuation of the annual debate competition sponsored by the Belize Social Security Board. Today we have the participation of the Independence Junior College and the Ecumenical Junior College. I ask you to kindly stand and we'll call on the Independence High School Band for the Belizean National Anthem. Thank you very much. Please remain standing. I call on Mrs. Diana Lozano for the morning's invocation.
Shall we pray? Father, we thank you and we praise you for this day. Thank you for the rain and for the cool air. Thank you for debaters, Lord. I pray that you would help them to remember the information that they receive, Lord. May you help them to bring it across the best of their ability, and may the best team win. Thank you for the organizers of today's debate and for anyone who played a part in making today's event possible. May you bless their time here today, and we thank you for all that will be said and done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Lozano. You may be seated. As I said at the start, we are here for the continuation of the Belize Social Security Board annual debate competition, today featuring junior colleges from the south of the country. To tell you more about what will happen today and to deliver the welcome address, Please put your hands together and welcome to Arnaldo Villas, the Regional Manager, Social Security Board.
Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, Patrick Jones. A pleasant good morning to one and all. It's a beautiful morning. At this moment, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our Service Delivery Manager, SDM, Mr. Derek Morgan, who's with us. Sorry. Ms. Gail Zaweta, the organizer. We have Mr. Foreman around, Mr. Elroy Foreman, IHS and IJC Board Chairman, the Principal of Independence High School, Omar Langsword, not here, expecting him, and the Dean of Independence Junior College, Ms. Marie Young, not here. Okay, the students from the two participating schools, distinguished judges, our moderator, Dr. Leroy Almendares, our timekeepers, tabulators, public in general. I welcome you all to this segment of this year's National Debate Competition, proudly sponsored by the Social Security Board. It is indeed an honor and privilege to stand here before you, to have been chosen and given the opportunity to deliver this keynote address to you all. The topic for the debate this morning that will see the participation of the Independence Junior College and Ecumenical Junior College is as follows. Quote, be it resolved that Belize should invest in its military and institute obligatory military service among its young people, given the threats to our borders. Close quote. I want to give you a very brief, extremely concise summary of the concept of obligatory military service, mainly in our two border countries, our neighboring countries, Guatemala and Mexico. I don't want to compromise the debate any at all, so Mr. Moderator, if you see me compromising, please stop me. Okay, Mexico, our neighbor at the north, they have obligatory military service for all males 18 years and over. They're required to render compulsory military service, or what is commonly known as conscription. Please mark that word, pin that word. Obligation of conscript service is 12 months in Mexico. At age 16, with consent, males can join or apply to join the voluntary service, military service. Conscript serve only in the army, since service in the military, in the Navy, and Air Force is all voluntary. Women are eligible for voluntary military service as well. Cadets enrolled in military schools in Mexico from ages 15 are considered members of the armed forces. That was updated 2012. In Guatemala, our neighbor to the west and to the south, all male citizens between the ages of 18 and 50 are eligible for military service. In practice, most of the force is volunteer. However, a selective draft system is employed, resulting in a small portion of 17 to 21-year-olds conscripted. Conscript service obligation varies from 1 to 2 years in Guatemala, and women can serve as officers as well. All right, I said mark the word conscript because the definition, well, the information I read about Guatemala and Mexico was from www.cia.gov as a source. Okay, just definition. The West Encyclopedia of American Law, edition 2, conscription is the compulsory enrollment and induction of persons in the military service. As simple as that. The slogan for This year's debate, national debate, is Social Security Board, Cultivating an Informed Belize Through Conversations. This topic can be classified as a fragment of the global concept of communication for development, generally known as C4D. C4D, according to Wikipedia, is a broad term used to refer to all different types of communication that need to happen in societies if sustainable democratic development is to occur. The approach to C4D has evolved over the years, but was initially developed after World War II. Since then, C4D has broadened to incorporate interpersonal communication and has thus come to be seen as a way to amplify voices, facilitate meaningful participation, and foster social change. Why I made reference to this C4D is because this is what we are trying to do at Social Security with these national debates. We're trying to develop young people's mind and enable them to understand, negotiate, and take part in the decision-making process that affects their lives. That's precisely what they're doing this morning. A short overview of this year's event and the overall objective of Social Security as it relates to these events. This year marks the first year of an intended series of annual national debates. Last year, March 20th, 2015, we hosted what we can now refer as the pilot debate, and it was for the central region only and saw the participation of the Belize and Cayo districts. We had four institutions participating, namely St. John's Junior College, Wesley Junior College, Sacred Heart Junior College, and UB, the University of Belize. Our decision this year was to roll the debate nationally, and this year we are engaging the entire country, all the communities. We have 10 participating schools, namely John Paul II Junior College, St. John's Junior College, Crozal Junior College, Belize Adventist Junior College, University of West Indies Open Campus Belize, University of Belize, Galen University, Sacred Heart Junior College, Ecumenical Junior College, and Independence Junior College. How we arrived at the topics and how we distributed the topics among the participants, we invited the people, the institutions to give us the topics. When we had a pool of 36 topics, then we have a computerized raffle. We had a computerized raffle to randomly select and assign the topics to each participating school. The intention of these debates is to actively engage our communities and stakeholders at large in healthy conversations on both national and international issues that affect us either directly or indirectly. These debates are also in line with our corporate values as an institution, and to a larger extent to our 5-year strategic plan. One of the 10 values that we gave the highest importance for the board to accomplish its mission, vision, and strategic objectives is its social responsibility and ongoing pursuit to positively impact on national development. To end, I am proud to reiterate, to voice personally, that our service philosophy at Social Security is to put the customer at the heart of everything we do. In other words, we revolve around the customer. It is cementing a provision of personalized service experience characterized by effective, efficient, accessible, and accurate service delivered seamlessly through the channel of the customer's choice. Once again, I'd like to thank you very much and welcome you once more to this debate. And I wish the very best to the competing schools. May the better team win. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arnaldo Villas. At this time, I want to call to the microphone Ms. Roxanne Guy. I'm not going to try the surname because It's too early in the morning to trip over it. So I'll just stick to what I know, right? And she will do the honor of introducing to you the judges and the moderator. And then Miss Gail Ozayeta, I can handle that, the name there, will come forward to introduce the moderator. So you'll see both of them on stage before we get into the actual debate.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. Joseph Villafranca hails from Punta Gorda town. He graduated with honors from the University of Belize, where he earned a bachelor's degree in general biology with a minor in natural resource management. He obtained an associate degree in agriculture from the Belize College of Agriculture and has been working in conservation and protected areas management as the program director of Toledo Institute of Fur Development and Environment, TIDE, in which he has years of experience. He is a member of the National Environmental Appraisal Committee that is tasked with the review of making recommendations to the government of Belize on mega development projects in Belize. Please let us welcome Mr. Joseph Villafranca from Punta Gorda town. Mr. George Exodus Tillett is the present curriculum officer of the Toledo District in Education Center. He began his career in primary school education system in 1990. He has 22 years of experience working as a teacher and at times principal in many rural and urban schools in the Toledo District. In 2013, he was appointed the task of curriculum officer of the Toledo District, where he is working for the past 2 years. He holds a bachelor degree in primary education from the University of Belize. He has a passion for leadership and self-development. He has worked with many organizations that have allowed him traveling experiences representing Belize in the United States, the Caribbean, and other countries in Central America. He's an avid reader and usually reads 25 to 50 books per year. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. George Exodus Tillett.
Good morning, everyone. Antonia Caroline Valentine Barrera was born in Punta Gorda on March 22nd, 1982. During her primary school years and first year of high school, she attended various schools in several parts of the country due to her mom's career, which took her from one district to another. After completing high school, she went on to further her education, majoring in biology and chemistry. After graduating from sixth form, she ventured into the teaching profession at Epworth Methodist Primary School in Dangriga. 1 year later, she seized the opportunity of applying for a scholarship to study medicine in Cuba and was awarded the scholarship. In 2012, after 7 years of studying medicine in Cuba, she returned certified as a medical doctor. After 1 year of internship at Carl Huesner Memorial Hospital, she took up a position at the National Health Insurance doctor for the NHI clinic in the village of Hopkins in Stan Creek District. She is a wife and a mother of one daughter, and she continues to work as the doctor for the NHI clinic in Hopkins and is also the proud owner of the Love Clinic in Hopkins Village. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Caroline Valentine Barrera. It is an honor for me to introduce Dr. Leroy Almendares to you this morning. Dr. Leroy Almendares holds a Doctor of Philosophy degree, known as PhD, in Organizational Leadership which he obtained at the Nova Southeastern University in the USA. He holds a master's degree in business administration with concentration in economics and strategy, which he obtained at the University of the West Indies. He earned a Bachelor of Science degree at Ferry State University, also in economics. While pursuing his doctoral degree, his focus for his dissertation was using the debate technique as a tool to improve critical thinking in economics. Hence the reason he is no stranger to debates. He is the current Director General in the Ministry of Foreign Trade for Belize. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Leroy Almendares.
And so for the remainder of most of this morning, the rest of the proceedings will be turned over to the moderator. A round of applause once again for Dr. Leroy Almendares.
Good morning, everybody. Can everybody at the back hear me? Whenever you can't hear me, just tell me you can't hear me, but don't say it. Anyway, good morning. It's a pleasure being here. This is the fourth debate in the series of the national debate by the SSB. And for us, let us just get underway because we see so many excited people in here. And so what I will do, so that we can go over the rules, I will call up the Independence Junior College first. But I want Independence Junior College to come up with everybody, including the three who will debate, the alternates, and the coach. The same with Ecumenical Junior College. If I can have the debaters and their coaches so we can go over the rules before we start. So let me start by asking Independence Junior College. They're afraid to come up? Oh, okay. And if you could just remain standing for me. You could stand behind the desk there. Sorry. And Ecumenical Junior College. So now that we have, now that we have both schools present, the rules, the rules are simple. The coaching would have been done or should have been done before they came on stage. So any last minute coaching would have been done while they were waiting to come on stage, all right? Which means then that only the three people who remain here for Independence and the three who remain for Ecumenical Junior College, only those 6 people will participate in the debate along with myself, and the judges and the timekeepers and the tabulators. As the MC indicated, the debate has now been turned over to the moderator or the proceedings, and so therefore, remember, audience, if you want to applaud at any time, feel free to do so. Just don't applaud when they're speaking, right? We know we get excited. So, Ecumenical Junior College, we're good? Independence Junior High, Junior College, we're good? Okay. Can I now then ask only the 3 who will debate for Ecumenical and the 3 who will debate for Independence Junior College to remain on stage? And could you give them a round of applause for me, please? Okay, the next thing we want to do, these debaters were told to prepare based on the topic that you heard, and I will read the topic again, and they were supposed to prepare for the affirmative and the negative. But they don't know which side they would have taken because it is decided that it will be done by the toss of a coin. There are 2 speakers from ecumenical and there are 2 speakers from independence. One of these 3 people on both sides is known as the whip, which means their role is to help in the preparation of responses. And because they will not speak during the debate, I'm going to ask the 2 whips to come to the middle here, and the other 2 remain seated, and they will be the ones who will call to determine what side each we will take. So, who is your whip? Who is the whip from over here? No. Should I put him to sit? Oh, okay, let him stand. Now, heads or tail has nothing to do with height, huh? So, while I throw, you call. What do we have? See, tails won. Anyway, Independence Junior College, you won the toss, so you can go back to your seat, you can go back to your seat, and now we can all sit. And see, they're all the same. We are all now the same height. Okay, since you won the coin toss, you then now have the option of choosing either the affirmative or the negative. Take a few seconds and you have to put on your mic. Remember, this is now, as a matter of fact, you know, with technology, this is live streaming. Right? It's now being live streamed. So if you go to, I think it is, what is it, Patrick? westvision.bz. Not you all. You should be focusing on us. We are all here together. No live streaming from within. But those who are listening or those who are now have gone to the website and are live streaming, yes, it is being broadcast live, if you will. Okay, so you said the affirmative. Now, what you need to do for the benefit of the judges, for the benefit of the timekeepers, for the benefit of the tabulators, and for the benefit of the audience, when you speak for the first time, identify the position you're taking or the side you're taking and your name. Okay? We have 2 microphones on. The other thing is just one microphone. Just take off both of them. Take off both of them. Take off the other one as well. So that's what you will do. Now remember, as soon as you're finished speaking, just take off your microphone, otherwise we will get feedback. All right? Now, the other thing is, remember, if you are the whip, the only time you got to speak was when you called heads or tail just now. You're not to speak again. That's a violation of the rules, but you would have identified your first and second speaker. Okay? So, without any further delay, you have chosen the affirmative side, you said. You now have 2 minutes. And you see those 2 people sitting there? Whenever they ring the bell, it means that your 2 minutes or whatever time was allocated, it's finished. You are to stop in mid-sentence when that bell rings. If you do not take up your full 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever time is allocated, you're free to stop. It just means the bell won't go off. Okay? Your opening statement. Remember now, this is an opening statement by both sides. The arguments do not start as yet. It's just an opening statement based on the position that you chose. And again, for the benefit of everybody, the topic is, be it resolved that Belize should invest in its military and institute obligatory military service among its young people, given the threats to our borders. You can begin.
So, affirmative. Be it resolved that Belize should invest in its military and institute obligatory military service amongst its young people, given the threats to its borders. We all know that our jewel, Belize, is blessed with a vast greatness of flora, fauna, archaeology, and natural wonders. It is no wonder that Guatemala has for decades felt the urge to claim Belize as its own. The International Institute of Strategic Studies in 2012 states that Belize and Guatemalan territorial dispute is an unresolved binational territorial dispute between the two states since 1940. Investing in our military and instituting an obligatory military service will assist our young people to become more patriotic, as they will learn to take ownership of their country and put the love of their country first and foremost. In addition, through this service, many young people will gain an honest employment and do something productive with themselves. The military service will assist in giving those who serve positive and gainful employment for their years of service. Their years in the military will help them to gain skills, training, and education that they can take with them even after their service to become a more productive member of society. We will bring to light that obligatory military service can and will help to better protect Belize, whose sovereignty as a nation is continued to be violated. Deliberations will be introduced as to why it is of vital concern for Belize to invest in its military, and why the implementation of obligatory military service is of necessity. For the fact that Guatemalans are very persistent in continuing to engage in illegal activities in our crown jewel, it is a must for Belizeans and the government to see that it is important to act now on improving the military force, and to also see why it is urgent to put pen to paper and institute mandatory military service amongst Belize's young people, given the threats from Guatemalans to Belize's borders.
Ecumenical Junior College, your opening statement, 2 minutes.
Wait. Negative. By way of introduction, I am Perla Martinez, along with my colleagues Harold Woolery and Kenroy Eligio. Resolved. Belize should not increase investment in its military, nor institute obligatory military service among its young people. Our national anthem opens with, "O land of the free by the Carib Sea." But how truly free will we be if our government decides to implement obligatory military service, known in military terms as conscription? On July 9th of 2004, Joseph D. Purcell writes for the Chicago Tribune in his article titled "Involuntary Defense." Conscription has no place in a free society. Any community that cannot acquire the service of enough volunteers to defend it in time of need, but must instead resort to coercion in order to force its citizens into a condition of involuntary servitude, does not deserve to exist. If we need conscription to preserve our liberty, then we are not really free. A truly democratic community should draw its defenders from a wellspring of free citizens, not a cesspool of slaves. It leads us to question, why would Belize go forward with an undertaking such as this? Can our little nation afford this quote-unquote investment? Do the incidents at our border warrant military response? The answer to these questions is no. We do not afford it. We do not afford to put our nation's young people, economy, or future at risk. My colleagues and I will substantiate that investing in conscription will be costly and not economically feasible for Belize. We will demonstrate how the occurrences at our border do not warrant military response, and establish how disrupting...
Take off your mic, thank you. Okay, you've heard opening statements from both sides. Now is the point where the argument begins. Your argument should be presented in support of the position that you take in your opening statement. I will then now ask Independence Junior College, or I'll just say IJC and EJC. I will ask IJC to now present their first argument, and they have 3 minutes in which to do so. Of negative side, remember you're supposed to be listening to the argument because your response should be it should be related to what is presented in the first argument. You will have 2 minutes to prepare your response and 2 minutes to present your response. IJC.
My worthy opponents, Belize should institute mandatory military service among its young people due to the fact that the situation at the border is getting out of control and our 1,900 soldiers need support. The Belize Territorial Volunteers leader, Mr. Will Mejia, has been working towards trying to show Belizeans the importance of demarcating its borders. The group, though its various efforts at the Sarsoon, has shown some of the actions of Guatemalans taken against our Belizeans within our borders. Our Belizean bowlers hold a threat from Guatemala and we cannot deny this. With time, we have become more comfortable as Belizeans in believing that we have made peace with our neighbors. But very recently, Guatemalan new President Mr. Jimmy Morales has awakened all of our senses to make us understand that Guatemala is not our friend. In his book, A History of Belize in 13 chapters, Asad Showman points out that Guatemala has made attempts to invade us before and there is possibility it might try again. In 1972, it was reported that Guatemala planned to invade Belize, and in turn, Mexico in 1975 reported that if that happened, it would invade the northern part to preserve its right over the territory. Guatemala continues to bully Belize, and we have the proof to show you how urgent it is that we must increase our military presence at our borders. The Guatemalan newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, February 11, 2015, Guatemalans continue to encroach into Belizean territory. News 5, August 17, 2015, Guatemalan military attempts to thwart Belize volunteers' mission in Belize waters. The Reporter, January 22, 2016, Guatemalans still fishing in Belize. BDF soldiers face off armed Guatemalan mob in Caracol, the Amandala, October 7, 2014. These are only a few examples of the bully Guatemala is. Secondly, conscription into the military will help our young people to build a true sense of patriotism. In a personal communication with Lance Corporal Samuel Reeds of the Volunteer Battalion on February 15, 2016, he stated that the force changes an individual no matter how bad the situation is. Young people will leave the force with high self-discipline, be well-mannered, skilled, and functional. In a letter to the editor of the Amandala newspaper entitled Remembering Recommendation number 29 of 2000, Caroline Trent Standiford, a member of the Political Reform Commission in 2000, expresses the need for Belize to become militarized. She also suggested for there to be a constitutional amendment to provide for mandatory military service for every Belizean, because it is her belief that each citizen of this country should be constitutionally required to give a period of mandatory service to the Belize Defense Force. At this point, Belizeans do not see.
Thank you. You now have... Yes, go ahead. If you want to applaud, it's okay. Okay, now you heard the first argument, EJC. You now have 2 minutes to prepare a response. After the first 2 minutes are up, you will hear the bell, which means that you will then have your 2 minutes to present your response. Okay, your 2 minutes.
My opponent, though worthy, is mistaken. Belize's military doesn't currently have 1,900, but 1,700 active and reserve soldiers. In comparison to Guatemala's 15,000, we stand at a bit of a loss. But what we have to keep in mind is that to compete, we're looking at a ratio of 3 to 1. No, though our territorial volunteers have been going to the border voluntarily, their actions patriotic. They went prior to warning from our very own Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Wilfred Ellington. On media houses such as Channel 5 and News 7, his warning resonated, asking them not to go to the border as the situation is volatile and we're currently in peaceful talk with Guatemala to resolve our territorial boundary issues. If Guatemala did so wish to invade Belize, from our military sources, they could do so in a matter of 3 days. The fact that their last attack was in the year 1972, it shows that they are willing to come to the table for more peaceful talk. Conscription in its nature defeats the virtue of patriotism. For an act to be patriotic, it must be voluntary.
Remember both sides that whenever you feel comfortable that you have responded, even if the 2 minutes are not up, you can stop. All right? It doesn't have to go up to 2 minutes. Okay. So we have heard the first argument and the response. First argument by IJC, response by EJC. EJC, it's now your chance or your opportunity to present your first argument. And you have 3 minutes in which to do so.
Instituting obligatory military service in Belize limits a person's overall rights, violates free will, and places young people's lives at risk. Obligatory can also be referred to as conscriptive. Human rights are generally agreed upon rights that people of various groups believe all people, regardless of ethnic, gender, religion, nationality, or any other status, should have. Fortunately, obligatory military service isn't one of them, but in fact is a direct violation of one's human rights. The Constitution of Belize, Chapter 4, which is the supreme law of the land, in Part 2, under the protection of fundamental rights and freedoms, Section 3A states, everyone in Belize is entitled to life, liberty, security of the person, and the protection of law. This law governs me, it governs my opponents, and all of you. Furthermore, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights also condemns such act. Let's look at Article 3. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and the security to person. Also, Article 4. No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms. Obligatory military service is a form of forced servitude, therefore prohibited. Article 8. Everyone has the right to an effective remedy by the competent national tribunals for acts violating the fundamental rights granted to him, her, by the Constitution or by law. You can take the donkey to the water, but you can't force the donkey to drink. Ron Paul, a US congressman, once said, justifying conscription to promote the cause of liberty is one of the most bizarre notions ever conceived by man. Forced servitude with the risk of death and serious injury as a price to live free makes no sense. How many people do you know who have joined the military and quit because it was simply not for them or what they expected? Or how many do you know who got injured or died serving in the military and then gets thrown away like expired goods? There's no justification for being forced against one's will to join the military. In fact, it is force against one's will which is the basis for proving guilt in criminal procedures such as rape, robbery, and other criminal offenses. In conclusion, I say no to obligatory military service. Thank you.
Okay, you heard the first argument from the negative side or the negative position. You now have your 2 minutes to prepare or confer as it's stated in the rules. And then after those 2 minutes are up, you will hear the bell, and then you have 2 minutes to respond to what you heard. Remember, it has to be in response to what you heard, right?
First of all, I would like to present to my opponents that to make the correction that we didn't say that they attacked us in 1972, but that they tried to. Next, they are likening it to slavery, but it is not. Conscription is not a form of slavery, for the simple fact that in bringing any issue to the table, that conscription is only for a period of time, and slavery involved harsh treatment. There was starving and also death due to not caring for them, but in conscription that is not the case. There is no harsh treatment, but simply learning discipline and being well-mannered and how to prepare yourself in a form of combat. And if we are in peaceful talk with Guatemala, then why are Guatemalans still encroaching in our territory? Why is there a dotted line on the Guatemalan passport depicting the adjacency zone between Belize and Guatemala? And due to the fact that we are a part of society, we should render service to our country. We must ask ourselves what we can do for our country instead of always asking what our country can do for us. Don't you think also that we will be more aggressive if it is conscription? Because if some of them don't like it, they will want to get out of it so quick that if in case anything is supposed to happen, they will be so aggressive and forceful in doing that conscription. And also, it is better to die for something than to have lived for nothing at all. And I will end off by saying a quote from Mr. Sun Tzu, stated in his book of The Art of War. It is not the number of soldiers that matter, like you guys said, but rather the tactics and the strategies used to defeat a larger force. Thank you.
Just take off the mic there for me. The mic. Okay, affirmative. It's now you're now to present your second argument.
My gracious opponents, conscripting our young people in the army gives equal opportunity for employment and experience, and brings heightened awareness of urgency of protecting our sovereignty. According to the Statistical Institute of Belize, the unemployment rate was 10.2% in 2015, and according to IndexMundi.com, 41% of families were living under the poverty line in 2013. This explains the high rate of crime in Belize and the reason for our overpopulated prisons. Investing in our military and instituting obligatory military service will provide positive employment for our young people regardless of their socio-economic or cultural background. In addition, they would be occupying their time doing something productive. They would not have time for crime and mischief. One of the key components of the military is that it teaches discipline. The military also builds character, and members are able to gain various skills, and they may use it in their lives after their military years to continue to be positive members of society. Conscripting our young people will increase the strength and readiness in our military to protect our borders and decrease further encroachment of illegal immigrants into our pristine forests and along our borders. Investing in the military and instituting obligatory military service will decrease the crime rate. More young people would be off the streets to be positively involved. They will gain not only physical training but education and discipline, and they will learn to better appreciate themselves and others. Young people will also be equipped with skills in architecture, engineering, first and aid response, and disaster management, just to name a few. Nothing but good can come from getting our young people involved in our military service. Now you see, my worthy opponents, that conscripting our young people into the force will give everyone in our country numerous benefits: a sense of security, heightened readiness and true patriotism, and loyalty of the sovereignty of Belize. Finally, my worthy opponents, Chapter 135 of the Laws of Belize, Revised Edition 2000, allows for conscription into the army in the case of any emergency. It is urgent to increase our manpower and support our army. It is urgent for Belize to strengthen its military presence, to protect our borders, and give our young people a true patriotic experience.
Okay, EJC, you heard the second argument by IJC, and remember, you have to respond. That's why you're given the 2 minutes here to confer or prepare your response. When the 2 minutes are up, you will hear the bell, and then you start your 2 minutes to present your response. Clear? Your 2 minutes have started.
My worthy opponents mention about conscripting would be the solution, such a good thing to curb or lower unemployment, that it would make people be positive or have a positive alternative. It teaches discipline and nothing good can come from the military. Well, nothing good can come from the military. So that explains some of the depressed soldiers that after they left the service, the terror that they go through, the fear, the dysfunctional families, alcoholism, promiscuity, trained criminals, the ones who were forced to go into the military that didn't want to go, that their rights were violated. Now they come back into society with skills that if they want to go on the other side of the law, they can cause serious terror to Belize. Now, you mentioned about skills for all. Did you know that the Mennonites are exempted from joining the military? That there was an agreement in 1967 that exempts all Mennonites, whether born in Belize or came to Belize, from joining or serving in the military, even at times of war? I don't think so. So, be careful how you choose your words and ensure that you're fully knowledgeable of what you say. Nothing but goodness could come from the military. That is truly false. Thank you.
Okay, I turn to you again because now it's your time, your opportunity now to present your second argument.
At the end of 2014, according to central bank statistics, Belize's external debt stands at a range between 2.2 and 2.3 billion dollars. Our creditors include the Caribbean Development Bank and Inter-American Development Bank. It is estimated that to clear our debt, we won't be able to do so until after the year 2038. Investing in conscription isn't feasible for our nation. One has to put into account the cost of operating a military. Now, from our sources, we gathered that $33 million a year is invested in our military. And that's only for salary. It doesn't look at training, which is $20,000 per individual for a 4-month time span. The acquiring of uniforms, which alone stand at $185 each. A rucksack at $200 each. Water containers at $20 each. Now continue to multiply and add. We're looking at approximately $66 million in investment in order to minimally compete with the Guatemalan army, when our budget only allocates $33 million for those that we currently have. And we're not looking at salary for the ones we look to intake. When expanding a military, one has to look at how we're going to accommodate them. We're now looking at acquiring resources such as land in order to build. And to build also requires money. It's infrastructure. And infrastructural investment, though once, will be great because we're looking at housing now, if we continue through with conscription, approximately 3,000 or more soldiers. Our barracks, which are in Ladyville and Belmopan as well as Esperanza, currently occupy approximately 3 square miles of land space, and that's only for the 1,700 that we currently have. When we look at even if we were to phase in gradually, we have to put into consideration the inflation of prices and rising prices on the world market. So as we continue to invest in a conscripted military, the price grows up every single year that we take to do so. When we look at housing, as I mentioned before, we have to look at furnishing all these complexes for these soldiers. We have to look at...
Time. Okay, IJC.
I know where I am.
IJC, your 2 minutes to confer and your 2 minutes to respond. Listen to the bell. That means your 2 minutes would have started for the response.